Hello, and thank you for joining me. Today I want to talk about the astrology of Sebastian Rogers, and I wanted to bring up a little something. I'm not going to go into too many details, like I'm not going to reveal the name or identity of a person that I suspect of being involved. Recently, someone came out and said that they have Sebastian. Now, we don't know if that's true or not. The police are still investigating it, and I don't want to get involved in spreading misinformation. But right after he went missing, I was working on the astrology of it, and a name came up on what I guess you would call my astrological radar. And so I looked up the name, and I found them here. Of course, the photo is blurbed out, the information is blurbed out, such as aliases and so on. The classification and the description of what they did, I blurbed all that out because nobody has been named as a suspect, nobody has been arrested, nobody has been convicted. And so because of that, I don't feel that it's fair or even legal probably to do that. So I'm not going to be revealing a name or showing a photo because it's just not appropriate at this time. And I wanted to show you that I've had this photo in my phone and this information since March the 7th. Okay. And so if someone does get arrested or convicted or whatever, at that time, I would reveal the person if the person is a match. If it's the person that came up on my quote-unquote astrological radar, then at that time I would, reveal the information. But right now, like I said, it's still not appropriate. So I got to looking at the astrology of the situation, and here is what I did. I did a horary chart asking where is Sebastian, okay? And I also set it against Sebastian's chart, so it's kind of like a synastry chart of, my horary question of where is he, and then his birth chart against it. And this person that came up on my astrological radar, so to speak, his asteroid is right here. I have his name covered up because, again, it's not appropriate to reveal that right now. Comes up in the 7th. Well, actually, houses are not that reliable. Well, actually, in this case it is, because in red is the horary chart. Okay? And so that is going to be the framework. And so in the horary chart, DNA comes up in the 7th house. The 7th house is the thief, okay? The criminal, the perpetrator, and it's conjunct this person that I suspect, okay? In other words, they're conjoined, all right? Let me see if I can come up a little closer. And also in the 7th house, interestingly enough, the asteroid for Latimer, Latimer, that has come up on my astrological radar as a result of a psychic that mentioned either a location or a street name or something having to do with the word Latimer. I'm sorry you can't see this better because it's a little blurry. And it's conjunct the moon, and the moon rules missing people. And all this shows up in the 7th house of the horary chart. Okay? And so I thought that was very interesting. Please excuse my nails. I'm a truck driver, and it's just really hard for me to keep my nail game together sometimes. Okay, and then over here in the 2nd house of the horary chart, the 2nd house rules like things of value, assets, things like that. We have Neptune, which is deception, okay, criminals, confinement, those sorts of things, and it's conjunct the asteroid for the person that I think, might have possibly had something to do with it. Okay, I have his name blurbed out, I have it covered up. Alright, and of course Neptune also rules things like water. Okay, and so that's what we're finding as far as when the Horary chart, which is in red, is set against Sebastian's chart in blue. Okay, and then here, a lot of people are, suspecting Chris and Kate, and I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go into accusing them or anything like that, because nobody's been arrested or convicted. Nobody's been charged with anything. In Sebastian's chart, Chris is conjunct Black Moon Lilith, and in the chart that the Horary chart, where is Sebastian, we have Kate. So Kate and Chris are conjunct the Black Moon Lilith. I'm not going to draw any conclusions about that as far as implicating them, as far as being guilty or anything like that, because I don't do that. The only time you'll hear me mention names or anything like that, if it's somebody that I suspect, is if it's somebody that is already a convicted serial killer or something like that. And then I will just say, I think this person is interesting or something like that. I won't just come out and be like, oh, this person did it, because I just don't play those games. Okay, and in Sebastian's chart here, we have, in the Horary chart, we have Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, and it's conjunct Sebastian's Typhon and Saturn. And I find that to be very interesting. And this doesn't mean anything right here. That purple, I just blurbed that out because it was something that I don't plan to discuss as part of the analysis or anything like that. And then here we have, in Sebastian's chart, we have the part of fortune. I'm so sorry, this is blurry. And it's conjunct Latimer. The part of fortune is like where you find your fortune, and it's conjunct the asteroid for Latimer, and I thought that was really interesting. And it's in the 5th house of things like recreational places and gambling, speculation, children, and whatnot, and also Horn. And there is a Latimer Lake in Horn, Mississippi, and a psychic has mentioned Latimer as being a possible location. Now, there are places called, there's a Latimer Road or a Latimer Street or something in Hendersonville, Latimer Lane or something like that. There's a Latimer Lake in Mississippi, and so on. There's also a Horn Lake in Horn, Mississippi. Okay, and so I just find these asteroids to be really interesting. Then over here in the 4th house, which is endings, the womb and the tomb, the beginning and the end, and so on, of the Horary chart, where I asked the question, where is Sebastian, we have his asteroid, okay, showing up in Taurus, conjunct the part of fortune, conjunct Theraeus, and Theraeus in astrology, Greek mythology, Theraeus is not a very good guy. He's actually, if I'm not mistaken, a bear hunter, and he waits for the perfect opportunity to seize the bear and kill the bear. So in Sebastian's chart, we have Theraeus conjunct the part of fortune and the asteroid Sebastian. In the Horary chart, also conjunct Uranus, and Uranus is sudden happenings, sudden disruptions, that sort of thing, 911, ambulances, that sort of thing. And I just find that to be a very interesting place for it to be, in the 4th house of endings. And so over here we have in the 3rd house around 15 degrees. We have the North Node, which is Destiny. This is the horary chart in red. We have Horn, as in Horn Lake, Horn, Mississippi. We have Chiron, which is this circle with a K. That's where you find your enemies. Okay, I just find this very interesting. And by the way, the suspect that I have in mind that might have had something to do with this, I can't say whether or not it's the same person that has come up and confessed to having him or said that he had him. I'm not going to go there. But the person has some significant placements around this area in Aries. Okay. And so I find that interesting also. And so, let's see. Aquarius, okay. We have Aquarius right here. That's these two wavy lines. In the horary chart, we have Mars and Venus. Okay. And then in Sebastian's chart, we have the North Node of Destiny conjunct Mars. We have Chiron, where you find your enemies, conjunct Venus. And then we have Neptune in pretty close proximity. In Sebastian's chart, this is Sebastian, and this is the horary chart. Then over here, we have Pluto, the planet of death, kidnappers, so on. It's conjunct Venus and Jupiter in Sebastian's chart. Alright, I just find that very interesting. And then here we have Pluto and DNA in Sebastian's chart, showing up in the 12th house of sorrows, troubles, secrets, loss, confinement. We have it showing up in the 12th house of the horary chart. So I just wanted to share these findings with you. I thought they were interesting. Also in the horary chart, we have Typhon showing up in Scorpio in the 10th. Okay, and so now I'm going to move on to the next chart. Okay, I'm hoping this chart won't be near as blurry as the other one. This one is the chart of the person that I think might be involved. Okay, and I have the name and information and birth data of that person, everything. I have that all blurbed out. And it's set against Sebastian's chart. Sebastian is in red. He's the Sagittarius. Okay? So, I find this interesting. Now, we're not going to have houses. They're not going to be accurate because we don't have birth times for either of these individuals. Okay? But in Libra, we have this man's name that I have blurbed out. Alright? And it's conjunct the moon, which rules missing people. Okay? So, yeah, this is Sebastian's chart, and there's the man's name. And then the man that might be involved, that's an astrological suspect of mine, there's his moon. They are conjunct, along with Neptune. I find that very, very interesting. Okay? And then, I believe it was Kirsty McIntosh indicated that he might be in the Red River area. Okay, in around Hendersonville. So I use the asteroid Redding. It's showing up in Libra. Also, Drake is showing up in Libra. I think there was something called Drake Creek or Drake Park. Shows up twice here in Libra, along with Chiron, where you find your enemies. I think that's all very interesting. Also in Sebastian's chart, again, we have DNA, Typhon, and Saturn in Virgo. The late degrees of Virgo. Then we have, let's see, I'm just mainly looking at conjunctions. When it comes to asteroids, I look mostly at conjunctions. Okay, in their synastry, again, we have this this man's name in his own chart, conjunct Venus and Jupiter in Sebastian's chart. Okay, in Aquarius, again, the houses are not reliable because we don't have birth times. And we have Sebastian's Uranus conjunct we need to make up a name for this man. Let's call him Elmer, okay? So we have Uranus conjunct Elmer's Mercury, which is in which is in Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune. So that's an interesting conjunction as well. And then here in Sebastian's chart, we have the moon, and it's conjunct Elmer's Typhon. This one is the most compelling for me, because Typhon is your enemy. Typhon is your monster. Typhon is, in mythology, the worst and most feared monster, probably of all. And it's conjunct, Elmer's Typhon is conjunct Sebastian's moon, which rules missing people. And it's in Aries. So that's alarming to me. It's just very interesting to me. We also have in Aries, no Taurus. We have Elmer's Latimer here. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Okay. In the third house of the local area where you live and everything, in Elmer's chart, which is in blue, we have Sebastian's asteroid. We have Horn, like Horn, Mississippi, or anything called Horn. I'm just bringing up Mississippi as an example. It doesn't mean he's in Mississippi. And we have Uranus. Now, Uranus rules things like freshwater, dams, outdoors, also perversions. Uranus is, it's about perversions as well in a crime chart. And I find that to be interesting. And it's in Gemini. We don't know what house it's in, really. It says the third house on this chart, but houses are not reliable without birth times. Then we have in the fourth house of endings, okay, the beginning and the end, the womb and the tomb, and so on. We have Elmer's Reading, okay, and Kirsty McIntosh was saying that she thinks that, according to astrology, he may be in the Red River area, and I used this asteroid called Reading because there was no asteroid that just said Red or Red River or anything like that. And then we have in Sebastian's chart his own asteroid that says Sebastian, and they're conjunct in a water sign, Cancer. Okay, so you see why I start with asteroids before I even start to delineate a chart. They tell an interesting story. And so that's why I start with asteroids, and then I go into Sabian symbols, and then I go into fixed stars, and then I start delineating the chart. And then here in the fifth house, I don't know if I brought this up or not, in Elmer's chart we have DNA, which is 555555, that's DNA. And it's conjunct Horn in Sebastian's chart. And then Pluto is here in Elmer's chart. Pluto and DNA are conjunct in his chart, which I find to be interesting. And in Sebastian's chart, conjunct Horn. So, yeah, very interesting stuff, in my personal opinion. Like I said, if it comes out that the person that I think might have been involved, if it comes out that they, are charged or convicted or whatever, I'll come out with the name and photo, but until then, I can't do that. Again, I'm not implicating Kate or Chris. I was just showing where their asteroids were in relationship to Sebastian's Black Moon Lilith, okay, and the in between Sebastian's chart and the horary chart called Where is Sebastian, okay. That does not mean that I'm calling anybody guilty. So I just want to put that out there. I appreciate you watching. Feel free to leave questions and comments. And have a great day. Bye-bye.